Good morning and welcome to Brandenburg News Network. I am Donna Brandenburg and it is the 24th day of June 2024. Wow, is this year gone fast. And it seems like it's picking up and going faster, but I'm going to get right into the show this morning. I've got Jeff Buongiorno, Mike Zarzano, and Gabriella Fox that are going to be on the first hour. The second hour is going to be Christina Holbrook, who really interesting person. She's one of our citizen journalists, investigative journalists that we connected with at Turning Point, who are going to be on our Friday panel. And we're also going to be working through the week with Christina, Casey, Dan, Holling, and Joel for bringing you a variety of news across the United States, because everybody's working on different things. And I find that if we get together and we work on things and projects, it always just goes way better. So at any rate, good morning, Jeff and Mike. How you guys doing?
Doing well, Donna. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Doing great. Busy day today. I got up and I've been like 900 miles an hour since the moment my feet hit the ground. It's been crazy. So what are we going to talk about today, guys?
Yeah, so I'm running for Palm Beach County Supervisor of Elections, and that's Donald Trump's home county. We have
we broadcast that live last week. That was pretty cool to be able to congratulate you for getting through the Frogger trying to kick real candidates off scheme there.
Yeah, they tried keeping me off the ballot. There seemed to be some shenanigans with the banking institutions that were involved in clearing the check. They actually siphoned the money out of the account for a whole day, and they refused to pay it, stating that they flagged my account on a suspicious activity report, SARS report, and that they deemed that it was potentially fraud. They sent me an email at 11:31 a.m. stating to call them back by 8:45 p.m. or else they would make a decision on their own based on the facts. Now, I called back about 12:40, and they had told me that there's fraud. And I said, no, it's not fraud. That's my check. Please pay it. They responded, well, the cutoff to make that decision was 12:30, so we can't pay it. So I asked, well, why did the email say 8:45 p.m.? And they responded, well, that's just a generic template that we send out. So the bank refused to pay, and I was, for the moment, off the ballot. We made some phone calls. A great friend of the campaign, Ann Vandersteel, had sent out a text to some county commissioners saying what's going on here. And I placed a phone call at 8:30 in the morning to the supervisor's office. And I said, well, how is this going? Do you really want to do this? How is this going to look in the court of public opinion? You bouncing off your political opponent. Haven't we seen enough lawfare? And about 14 minutes later, they called back and said, if you bring us a cashier's check by 11:30 a.m., we'll get you on the ballot, which was great. And that's what you and I covered. And my great colleague here, Mike Zarzano, kind of got me into the fight, and he's fighting like heck with grand jury indictments, and he's working with some great groups. And turn it over to Mike.
Hey, Mike. So what's going on? Let's explain. Introduce yourself to everybody, and then tell everybody what you've been working on here. It's pretty impressive.
Well, thank you, Donna, and we appreciate Jeff and all his efforts. But just for the record, I'd like to make a correction. We're not getting any grand jury indictments, at least not yet. That is the goal, though. But what we started back in 2022 was a statewide effort in the state of Florida to request 4 grand juries, statewide grand juries. And what people must understand is that when a grand jury is convened, we, the people, are the judge and the jury of the facts and the law. And that's what is so valuable when a grand jury is convened, because what we're fighting right now is a criminal enterprise. These people that run government at all levels, city, state, and federal, are criminal. It's a criminal enterprise. It's just that simple. And don't think for a minute that they're going to let any of us ever be elected to any kind of an office, because once we are, we will hold them accountable to the letter of the law. So that's why we convened these. We requested that these grand juries be convened. Now, we the people can't convene them. That's a big mistake that a lot of people out there are promoting, that we the people can create our own grand jury. Well, if you want to go to jail for falsifying and simulating legal process, be my guest. But that's not the truth. The fact is, we are a republic. We must obey law, and we must go by the law. And that's what we are doing in the state of Florida. The Honorable Governor DeSantis saw the merit of our request, and he then requested the Supreme Court of the state of Florida to convene these two grand juries. The border grand jury, which was the first one, made about 6 presentments of fact. And when they convened, the grand jury itself was shocked to find out what they discovered. It was just incredible, their statements that they made, how severe this problem was, and the impact it was having upon the state of Florida. They were so persuaded that before they adjourned, they requested that another grand jury be formed to complete their task, because they did not complete their task. The problem is so huge and so severe. That's why they requested another grand jury. And unfortunately, that second grand jury has not been convened yet at the request of the grand jury. So this is a violation that we need to encounter and enforce. The second grand jury, which was the COVID, when he did that one, it made world news. That grand jury is still in session right now, and it got an extension till December 24th. And we are attempting to get several witnesses to give testimony in that grand jury. But to this day, it's been crickets, and they are ignoring our petition to have witnesses. We even have the #1 international lawyer on bioweapon warfare, Dr. Francis Boyle. And we have him willing to testify, and they are ignoring us. So this is what we're up against, people. We are up against a criminal mafia government enterprise. Make no mistake about it. It's just that simple. And we got to get serious. We got to put on our boots and get involved. It's no more playtime in America. We are fighting an enemy within. And Donna, I just want to thank you for having us on this morning, and your show is very appreciated. I just wanted you to know that.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. What I was just kind of mind blowing to me is that there's like crickets out there on fake news about the fact that you've actually been convening grand juries and on this, and that this is moving forward. Let's talk about the process of convening the grand juries and how, because I'm guessing there's other people in other states that would do this. I'd love to see this done in Michigan, but we've got no hope in Whitmer convening anything here, because she's part of it and wants nothing remedied here, because it's going to implicate her.
Well, what you must realize is that in the state of Florida, we have very favorable law in regard to convening grand juries. The statute clearly reads at both the county level and the statewide level, the people can request and petition their government for redress via a grand jury. Not every state has that privilege, or it's actually a right, but some states, such as Florida, has made it an eligibility for the people to actually request it, and then the government convenes it. In our case, the state Supreme Court must convene the grand jury for the statewide level. At the county level, the chief judge of each circuit court is the one responsible for convening the county grand jury. And we are
Sheriff's kin in the state of Michigan, to my knowledge. So we can have a sheriff do that, because I believe that they're the highest officer in the counties in Michigan. But to your point, continue, please.
Yeah, absolutely. And if anybody would like to stay up to date with the efforts in the state of Florida, we have a texting service that everyone can text us. It's real simple. Just get out your cell phone and text the word jury to 21,000. 21,000. You text the word jury, and you will be given a text, and you will be kept up to date on the activities regarding the state of Florida grand jury. And the people can get involved in this effort. It's all about creating a court of public opinion. That's where the court begins, in the public realm. And
It's jury what?
Yeah, text the word jury.
Yeah.
To 21,000.
21000.
That's correct.
21,000. And then say that again. That will give them access to what?
Yeah, we'll keep them informed as what's going on. You'll get updates regarding the grand jury process in the state of Florida. And we are looking for victims of this crime, any SOEs, any candidates that feel in the state of Florida they had their election stolen through whatever means. We want to hear from them. Also, any victims of the COVID vaccine, we would like to hear from them as well, because we want their testimony to be given to the statewide grand jury regarding the COVID crime.
Okay, so I am putting this up. I'm putting this up on my Telegram channel, and that's at, let's see, text word jury. I'm gonna put that in quotes a minute, so that they can get a hold of you a minute on my Telegram channel, which is at Brandenburg #4MI, and you will be able to get that notification. So there you go. Well, it's extraordinary. Yeah, I like to help people find those resources and give them as quick as I can. I found that if I do it while I'm online, though, it's a little quirky sometimes, because I'm managing like 4 screens besides all of the different apps, as well as like Telegram and such while I'm on. But I do think it's important to get it up as quick as possible so people know how and where to get that from. Well, anyhow, let's talk more about this process so people become familiar with it.
Right. We on our website, we have a lot of great scholarly information, legal scholarly information for people to digest and research. If you go to our website, countycongress.com, and just scroll through the navigation bar on the slideshow at countycongress.com on the front page, you will come across several items. You'll come across an article called The People's Big Stick. The People's Big Stick is an article out of Reader's Digest from 1937. Now, consider what was happening in the early 1930s. 1929, 1932, we had the Great Depression. And the American people were very angry. They had their farms stolen, their gold was confiscated, their silver was confiscated, and they were mad as hornets. And they realized that the grand jury was the way they were to hold government accountable. And in this article from 1937 in Reader's Digest, you can read about what happened at that time in our American history, how the people rose up and used the grand jury as the big stick to beat down the tyrants in government, figuratively speaking. The second article is a book called The People's Panel. The People's Panel is one of the foremost authorities and exhaustive research works on the grand jury. It's almost 300 pages, and we have produced it in a PDF form. You can simply email it to any Office Depot, Staples, whatever favorite office supply place you have, and they can bind it for you in a booklet. And it makes a nice booklet for research and study. And in this book, The People's Panel, you will get an exhaustive study and research on the grand jury, its formation, its history, and the activities throughout American history involving the grand jury. It's an exhaustive research work. So I would urge people to do that and get a better grasp on the power and magnitude that we can have when using the grand jury. There's a lot of ignorance in America regarding this institution. It's a weapon. This is a weapon that we, the people, have been given by the founders. And the time has come to use the fourth box of government. There's four boxes of government. And a lot of people don't understand this too, but it's a fascinating truth that needs to be told. The first box we engage in is the soapbox. You know, we at our county and state level, we lobby our politicians to do what we wish by a soapbox method. Then if that doesn't work, we then vote them out of office in the ballot box. And if they continue in their tyrannical ways, we then come to the third box, which is the jury box. And that's where we're at right now. We have seen and been exposed to many violations of our rights and activities by these criminals in office. And we're at the jury box. The fourth and final box is where none of us want to go. And I certainly am not advocating we go there. But the reality is, and our founders had to use the final and fourth box called the cartridge box. Now, they didn't have cartridges. They had musket balls and patches and powder. But I think everyone gets the point. That's the fourth and final box, the cartridge box, and we do not want to go there. Neither are we advocating to go there. But the reality is, if tyranny continues and they beat on your door and do you harm, we have the right constitutionally to throw off tyranny. And that's where we're at now, Donna. It's unfortunate, but we are exhausting all efforts at the third box, the jury box. So I just hope people realize the severity of where we're at. This is not just another election season to get out the vote. We have been internally captured by a criminal element, and they have harnessed the voting machines and the system to deceive and destroy the election, honest elections. And so we have basically a banana republic. That's what we have right now. We have a banana republic. We're no better than all the countries you've seen in the past that, you know, get overthrown and taken over by tyrants. We are there. We have arrived, unfortunately.
Well, and fake news has been doing a real good job of convincing people that the boogeyman is Putin and it's Maduro and it's Kim Jong-un and it's everybody else on the planet in
Yep.
order to point away from themselves. Like, look over here, but don't look here, because, you know, that's what they're doing, is directing our attention when they're all in bed together, all of them. It's a globalist crime syndicate that has truly tried to take over the world. And I don't know if they really understand the 900-pound gorilla in the room, which is actual Americans who are sick and tired of their theft, their money laundering, their election rigging, and all of it. I mean, they steal our First Amendment right when they rig our elections. They steal our ability to live. I mean, it's incredible how much usurpation is going on right now. Well, I think this is really exciting, because the thing that I hear over and over again is people don't know what to do. And in Michigan, we have a group of political operatives that are doing the same thing within these under different labels. They're under the political parties, they're under the grassroots organizations and stuff. And I hate to say it, but people need to get quicker and smarter at determining and discerning who these people are, and not just follow every headline that floats past them as a good idea. We really need to get in there and do the real work like this. I would love for you to teach us more on the grand jury and how it works, because I do think that our education system has also done a bang-up job of dumbing us all down and not showing us the information we need to, in fact, take control of this nation.
That's right, Donna. And I just want to say there is a new organization that is beginning to to surface all across the country, and I urge everyone to find out about it. It's a very interesting and unique organization, and it's the CEO is a former Trump advisor, senior advisor to the military, Secretary of Defense. His name is Colonel Douglas McGregor. He is the CEO of a company called OurCountryOurChoice.com. And I would strongly recommend everyone go to the website and select the button to volunteer. And if you do that, you will be put on a list to receive pamphlets, flyers, pins, lapel pins, buttons, and all kinds of promotional materials that they are circulating throughout the country. OurCountryOurChoice.com. It is led by that gentleman right there. That's Colonel Douglas McGregor. He is Donald Trump's former senior advisor to the Secretary of Defense. And if you go to the Rumble channel or the YouTube channel, there is a video where Colonel McGregor interviewed me regarding the grand jury. It's about a half hour long where I get into the details, the nuts and bolts of the grand jury. And I think it would be very helpful for anyone to do that.
What's the Rumble channel called?
It's Our Country, Our Choice as well on Rumble, and also on YouTube.
Okay.
And it's a video. It shows. YouTube. Yeah, it's a video. It shows Colonel McGregor and I both, and it's about 30 minutes. Very good video.
Okay. Yeah, they're a bunch of commies. So YouTube is. Watch them censor me because I'm on there right now. So okay, there you go. This is just extraordinary. It's so fun for me to get on BNN every morning and talk to all these wonderful patriots like Mike that are working, and Jeff that are working tirelessly behind the scenes. Here, I'm going to post both of these to my Rumble channel here in a minute. If you want to find them at Brandenburg number 4MI, and see that there are actually people that are working, that are working on actual stuff, actual content, and an actual investigation into what's happened, and also working to write this. This is amazing. Can you guys help me get connected to General McGregor there? I would love to talk with him.
Yes, absolutely. We'll do that. Now, Donna, also, we need to mention
Colonel McGregor.
Oh, Colonel McGregor. Sorry, Colonel McGregor. Ugh.
Yeah, we need to also mention, we're standing
Need a
on
promotion.
Yeah, we need to mention also that we're standing on the shoulders of many great patriots in Palm Beach County that have been doing an ongoing effort in 39 municipalities in Palm Beach County. And it's a great group of citizen patriots that are forcing this issue into the public realm that demands accountability. And that is, we are seeking a county circuit court grand jury pursuant to Florida Election Code, Chapter 104, Section 4.3 and Section 4.2. And this law gives we the people, any qualified Florida voter or qualified Florida candidate, such as Jeff Buongiorno, has the right to convene a grand jury, request that a grand jury be convened to investigate suspicion and election integrity anomalies and issues of crime that is being accused. And we now have in the state of Florida, I believe, correct me, Jeff, if I'm wrong, but I think there are 12 candidates for SOE, Supervisor of Election Office, that are running against criminal accusation candidates. And this is very serious. We have 12 in the state of Florida that are running to expose these crimes.
Yeah, that's I'd like to give them all a shot. They're all great patriots. Yeah, they're all great patriots, and I'd like to give them a call out. In Alachua County, you have Judith Jensen. Charlotte County, David Kalin. Collier County, Dave Schaffel. Hillsborough County, Billy Christensen. Lake County, Tom Vale. Lee County, Mike Peters. Monroe County, that's down in the Keys, Sherry Hodes. Palm Beach County, yours truly, Jeff Buongiorno. Pinellas County, Chris Gleason. Now, Chris brought to light the Blue Smurf scam, and we're looking into that at the state level now, as well as the federal level, and that were the donors that weren't really donors, and they, this is how they funnel money into the election campaigns of the deep state incumbents. And we have 2 more, so there's 10. Next, we have Amy Pennock from Seminole County, and right up here in St. Lucie, George Umansky. So there's 10 of us, and we'll be seeking grand juries in each of those 10 counties, and we're going to try to expand it to all 67 counties, so our voices are heard, the people's constitutional rights are not violated, which they have been. And between the slate of 10 and growing, hopefully, we're praying that we get some traction with this. We need to do it soon. We have these illegals that are we can't, the state, our government can't prove that they're citizens. Our Florida state constitution, if you look at this quick page, 1 second, during the 11 November 2020 election, we passed an amendment with huge support. Almost 80% of the voters, 79.29%, were in favor of a measure to shore up that only citizen. See, this is the amendment. It changed one word, only a citizen, instead of every citizen. So we changed this from every citizen to only a citizen. Now, this is a tremendous margin of victory on this ballot measure, and our county officials are shutting us down, turning off our mics when we try to speak on this. My videos on this on Facebook were flagged, they were canceled, and between those two things, between the censorship on social media and our own elected officials shutting us down, we know that we're over the target.
It's just crazy, the amount of corruption that's there. You think you're going to get to the end of it, and it just gets worse and worse and worse.
It's like peeling an onion.
Yep. So what do you think of the criminality in Florida? What do you think the head of the snake is down there? Because I'm pretty sure that Grand Rapids, Michigan is pretty darn close to the top right now.
Yeah, well, I signed a pledge for and all these other candidates, these great patriots did as well, stating that we will not be a part of the Florida Supervisor of Elections, Inc. This is the election fraud cartel. This is the election industrial complex where these supervisor of elections are under leadership capture. This is the corporate overlay. So they're answering to this Florida Supervisors of Elections Incorporated, and they're taking their marching orders from them, and they're not following the law. We want to run elections according to the letter of the law, and this group is meddling. They're basically, like I said, our supervisor of elections positions or elected officials are under leadership capture, and this group, this incorporated group, is to blame, and we have to take them down.
So this is coming up as myfloridaelections.com. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, and they try to make it look like a governmental site with the we have like My Florida. We use that a lot in Florida for the governmental sites, and they're doing their best to project that they are the government. And right now, they are the government because the election officials are not following the letter of the law or the Constitution, which I just showed. The constitutional amendment had immense support. Now, we also have a statute on the books, 97.041, which states you have to be a resident and you have to prove it, and you have to prove citizenship. But then we have conflicting federal laws. So what we need to do in Florida, what the fix is in Florida, is I believe that we need to follow suit with Arizona. Arizona has 2 voter registration forms. If you're not willing to prove citizenship, if you only want to attest to being a citizen, then you can only vote in a federal election, because that's compliant to it's 1933 Voter Registration Act, which needs to be reversed. And they have a second form. If you can prove citizenship and residency, you get to not only vote in the federal elections, you get to vote in all county and local state races. So state, local, county, you vote in them all. That's how Arizona handled it. It went to the Supreme Court 13 years ago, and they lost, and they went to the Supreme Court again not too long ago, I think in March, and they said, well, we got 2 forms, and that's how we're going to conduct our elections. 2 different ballots, one with federal races only, which in my opinion, there's no such thing as a federal race. We do elect federal officials, but the election, the state reps, they have plenary power over elections according to the U.S. Constitution. So this whole, I kind of bite my tongue when I say federal elections. So I think you might have another guest waiting. I know we're time a little. My website is votebongi.com. I need support. That's Bongi, votebongi.com.
Gabrielle isn't on yet, so you got plenty of time here. So I'm just waiting for her to join right now, so you're in good shape.
Yeah, so let me just give my website. It's votebongi.com. B-O-N-G, as in God, votebongi.com. And I need your support. From my understanding, George Soros is going to dump he's going to dump about $500,000 to keep the incumbent. It's a county-wide race. Palm Beach is a huge county. It's like a congressional district and a half. So, I really need support.
Well, what's really crazy about this is that wherever you look, you can see that there are, oligarchs. I mean, Michigan is full of a bunch of oligarchs here that are actually running the state and buying elections. And that's the problem, is that they've got unlimited money. So I think we can win with a lot less money than what they do, because they just throw around money, like it's I don't know, like it's confetti, right? But real candidates do need support. And so there you go, Jeff. It's just mind-boggling. I'm really interested in what you're doing too, Mike. I mean, you guys are just amazing. I'm so amazed at how many really good quality people that are in election investigation and prosecution of this from Florida. It's outstanding what's coming out of Florida right now. I don't see this kind of an effort anywhere else in the United States. I'm not even seeing this kind of an effort out of, like, say Arizona. I'm seeing some of it, but not as organized as you guys are.
Well, if I may say one more thing, Donna, before we end the video. We also have a website with 2 documentary videos. One is called Hacking Democracy. And if you go to our web link,
what is it?
It's called killingelections.com. Killingelections.com. And watch those 2 videos. And what you will realize is that we Republicans are late to this crime. It was the Democrats that first realized these election machines were a threat to our election integrity. And this was proven in both of these videos. And this effort got started up in Ohio and I believe in the state of Washington. And in these 2 videos, you will see the details of the election evidence and the crimes involving these machines. And I would urge everyone to go to killingelections.com and spend a little time and watch both of these videos. One is about an hour long. The other is a little more than an hour. And you will be amazed to what you find and discover.
Yeah.
Can I play a little bit of it here?
Sure.
On hacking democracy, there's a second follow-up documentary called Kill Chain: The Cyber Warfare on America's Elections, and that's on HBO Max. And the third one is in production now. And back in August, I was interviewed, so I'll be in the trilogy along with one of your former guests, Josh Merritt, and some other great folks. So that's they're trying to put that together.
Can you text me in the either the private chat, Jeff, all of the titles here, and I will post all of them. And did you want me to post the ballotpedia.org laws pertaining to non-citizens?
Sure.
Okay, hang on a minute. Let me throw this up here. Okay, and here's the.
We're having a little trouble. We're having a little trouble with the third one. You know, the sentiment has switched. You know, back in 2006, when the first one, Hacking Democracy, came out, you know, it wasn't a felony to question the outcome of an election, and so it's okay when the left does it, but when the right does it, it's it's a felony.
There we go, and that's up on my Telegram channel now, so you can find those links there, and then let's see, Kill Chain: Cyber Warfare on American Elections.
Now that is still on HBO Max, so we're not able to post that. They still own the rights.
Okay.
But the first one is you can't.
If you text me all three of them, I'll just put the titles in for people to look for. So you had four of them that you called out. Just put all four of them in the private chat, and then I'll throw those out there as titles for everybody to look. Okay. Awesome. Wow.
I'll put it in the private chat, the first one.
Yeah, you've got it, the first one, but I need all four of them, and then I'll post those real quick to get it out there. This is like working on the fly here, guys, you know, and I just love this. Well, I'm thrilled to talk with you, Mike. And as always, Jeff, you know, Mike, anytime you want to come on and talk about what's going on, I will absolutely flip the cameras on. If you've got anything that needs to be talked about, you know, because this is extraordinary what you guys are doing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So
if you're, I know of two. The one on killingelections.com. The second one I'm not familiar with. I know Hacking Democracy and Kill Chain, and the third one that we're trying to get HBO to air. You know, I think it's almost done.
Let me throw this up
filming in August.
Just a little bit here.
America, the world's greatest democracy, and at its heart, the vote, the will of the people. But how do you know if the vote is counted correctly? And if you don't know, then what have you got? Democracy? This is the story of a small group of citizens headed by a grandmother from Seattle. They set out on a journey to ask one simple question. How does America count its votes? What they found was secrecy, votes in the trash, and how to change the course of history.
Something broken in the promised land.
Love it. I absolutely love it. That's cool. And
that's also on my website. You can hit my website, vulpbongi.com, and you'll see a link to Hacking Democracy.
Okay, show us
A
where
lot
to
of this was
navigate.
up in it was in yeah, if you scroll down, you'll see it on the can you expand it? It's on the left.
Got it right there. So
Yeah.
hacking
So
democracy in the
yeah,
movie.
and yeah, if you scroll down, you should see a link. Watch the movie.
Yeah,
And
I
you
have.
know, Simon and Russell, or really two. They're Simon Artisoni and Russ Michaels. They're really great. They're from London, and they really care a lot about what goes on in America. And you know, they're the producers of the first two and the third upcoming one. And you know, just a shout out to those guys across the pond.
That's very cool. Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks, guys. I'm going to bring on Gabriella now. If you have any last words, or if you want to stay on, you're okay. I'm okay with you staying on too.
I'm going to bounce. VoteBongi.com. Bongi with a G. Could really use your support. I'm up against an entrenched deep state incumbent who needs to be dethroned.
And you're just the guy to do it, so that's cool.
If anyone would like to email and inquire about the grand jury and how to do it, they can contact me at floridacountycongress@gmail.com. floridacountycongress@gmail.com. Thank you very much.
At gmail.com.
Yeah.
Okay. Just Florida County Congress at gmail.com. Bam. It's on my website or on my Telegram channel. Okay. Thanks, guys. You guys have a great morning. And I'm going to bring on Gabriella just a second. All right. Hang on. Transition time, guys. Doodle-doo, doodle-doo, doodle-doo. Morning, Gabriella. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you, Donna?
Doing great. Doing great. It's been a while since we talked. How are things going?
Pretty good. Qualifying passed and got qualified, and there's been a lot of interesting things going on with the race in general. It's probably one of the most widely reported on races in the state of Florida right now, as far as state house goes.
I'm trying to bring up your website just a minute while we're talking.
Mm-hmm.
And hang on. I've got what's the website name here?
Do GabbyForFlorida.com.
Okay, I think I'm almost there. There we go. Ta-da! There you are. So anyhow, well, tell us what's going on down there in Florida.
So the race that I'm in is one of those really highly contested primary races. So there's 4 Republican qualified candidates in the race, and it's not obviously something that I like. I would prefer, if we could take one page from the Democrat playbook, it would be that they do rally around one candidate typically, and they don't do a lot of primaries. And that's unfortunately not the case with Republicans. I don't know if we are more competitive. I don't know if there's just a lot of rhinos trying to infiltrate. Maybe it's a little bit of both. But one of the candidates that's in the race is getting a lot of notoriety, uncharacteristic amounts of notoriety, because her and her husband have been dumping an exorbitant amount of money, personal funds, into the race in terms of paying for endorsements.
Okay, so I'm just going to throw this out here. So I believe right now that the Republican Party is the worst threat we have right now, because it's controlled opposition. What I saw in Michigan is they divided the state up when I was running for governor. They divided the state up into basically 12 market segment candidates that were their choice. And in order to keep people confused, and you'd watch them bounce back and forth, weren't endorsing, to keep people's head on a swivel constantly. And then finally, DeVos and DeVos money, Betsy DeVos, the whole Amway empire, the DeVosses and Van Andels, got behind Tudor Dixon, announced her at our DV development with the Econ Club, threw a whole bunch of money at her, got her moving in the direction they wanted her to go, and then defunded her and kind of abandoned her at the end because they were all working for the Marxists, which is to get Whitmer back in.
Yes.
That's exactly what happened. So they divide candidates up based on a market segment to capture and message and to appeal to them instead of putting candidates out there that are qualified. And that's bad on the Republican Party. I really hope Laura Trump gets control out of this and cleans this rat's nest out that's engineering our elections.
Well, yeah, one of the main issues that I've brought up on a couple other interviews, and to people that have called me and asked me, so my opponent that has been paying for all the endorsements and they have dumped over $500,000 of personal funds into a state house race. The salary for a state house representative in Florida is $27,000 a year.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
No. And they've raised probably about $300,000, campaign fund wise. They're backed by a ton of trial attorneys. And, as you know, we have an insurance crisis going on in Florida, and it's because of all the frivolous lawsuits and insurance companies basically fleeing the state. Probably a tiny bit has to do with some barriers to entry and regulation, but anyway, so the opponent has been infiltrating the Mar-a-Lago crowd and going to every event, paying for every, ticket. And she got in the ear of, several people around Trump, and her and her husband donated a lot of money to the Trump campaign in the last year or so. And she managed to squeeze out an endorsement that actually went around his team. So it was a big upset.
I got to throw this out there. I have never seen President Trump, the rightful president of the United States, make an actual good endorsement. And I really do believe that. When I look into the people he's endorsed, we got some big problems there. But what I really think he's doing is he's pushing them into the light for us and directing our attention to them, to start digging on them, to look at who they are, what they've done. He's not giving us an endorsement just to say, okay, rubber stamp vote for this person. He's way too smart for that. And when you start looking into his the people that stand next to him, I think he's doing a keep your enemies closer type thing. But he's also trying to teach the American population how to think for themselves, choose good candidates, and not just be fed like a bunch of baby birds, like, who do we vote for? Who do we vote for? We need to make adult choices, and that takes some work.
Well, in this case, actually, when the endorsement came down the pipeline, everyone was shocked because it is a highly contested Republican primary. I'm sure, as you know, if you've looked into me whatsoever, I've been in the MAGA sphere for years and years. This person has zero history prior to running for office in the conservative political space, or even using her voice to sort of champion conservative issues. So the Trump team, one person from the Trump team reached out to me and said, this did not go through the proper channels. This person was not vetted by, the team or the advisors. And somebody went around us to get him to give this endorsement and put it on Truth Social or whatever. So that's concerning. And one of them was his son that said that. So it's just, I don't know, all the moving parts, but I do know one thing. You can go online, you can look up the donation records of any candidate. And in my particular race, if you go and look up the donation records of my opponent and her husband and how much money they have given other politicians and pundits and big conservative, talking heads in the space, It's all happened in the last year and a half since she announced, a little over a year. And then you see the endorsements come down the pipeline, and they're just racking them up. And, it's pay for play.
It sure is.
Give me your endorsement and, we'll donate thousands of dollars to your campaign. And $500,000 is nothing to shake a stick at. That's double what the current, average is for a state house rep to raise, which is already high. It used to be about 100,000 per Matt Gaetz when I spoke to him about it. But Matt Gaetz was also, unfortunately, hate to call him out, but he was one of the ones that she bought off. She donated, or her husband donated, whoever donated, to his father's reemergence campaign in the Senate and to him, and he gave his endorsement. None of these people did any due diligence on these people whatsoever. They're huge Democrat mega donors prior to her running for office for a conservative, a Republican seat. The incumbent in that seat is a Republican now, and it's a Republican area. So, maybe she's being used as a show pony, and it's really, her husband that wants the position of power. And he knows that he can't win as a Democrat, so he's running her. I don't know.
Who is it? Who's the candidate?
The last name is Weinberger.
Weinberger?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, there's so much. When you start following the money and you see how many people are willing to compromise for that almighty dollar. Yes. All I can think of is it's like Judas and the 30 pieces of silver, because it's amazing to me how quickly people will chase that dollar for, money and power instead of doing the right thing. There's not enough people that are willing to do the right thing regardless of what the cost is. And it's pretty sad. But where do you look up donations in Florida? Yeah, specifically.
So if you just actually Google or whatever search engine you use, Florida political donations, there will be a website that pops up. I believe it's Division of Elections or something like that for Florida, or Florida DOS, or I forget what pops up exactly. But Florida political donations, yes, that's the page. Yeah, DOS elections. Yep. And then you can just scroll down and go down to contributor. Don't go to candidate. Go down to contributor. Keep going. Contributor. And then type in the last name, Weinberger. And
Berger.
Yeah. And then go down to, let's see, date range. You could do, beginning of 2023 through, 6/15. Oh, it's got to be 01/01/2023. Yeah.
And what's the next one? Through what?
06/15/2024. I don't know if it'll do it with dashes, but we'll try it.
Okay.
And then submit. So remember, this is only going to show, you got to go back. You got to go back and put not 2024. You got to go back and put the whole shebang. Go up to the very top of the page and click all in election year. Just click all, because we don't know what they don't. No. Right. Yeah, there we go. I don't know why I can't see here.
Yeah, it's funky when you're on go on live. All kinds of things change.
Oh, it just reset the form.
Oh, duh. Donna.
Oh, that's first name.
Sorry. We'll get it. Okay. Let's go back up to the top. Do all. Sorry, I'm
And
wasting
this will only show you actually, if you go scroll down, this will only show you the Florida donations, and then do slash instead of dash maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. 01 2023
And
06 15 2024.
all right, let's see.
Submit.
Whammo.
So this is just the state of Florida. So you're going to look for Eric and Meg or Megan. And this is just Florida. If you go on the federal donation record website, there's even more.
Yeah, look at this is always telling. The Republican Party of Florida, have they given you any money?
No.
Yep, there you go. There's
Well, he gave no. The new chairman of the Republican Party of Florida actually did a fundraiser at their home in my county, in Palm Beach County, and everybody was up in arms about it in Palm Beach County, because most of the people in Palm Beach County in the Republican Party, they know who this person is. They know the background and the history, and they know what they're doing. They know that they're paying, pay to play. So they actually did reach out to the chairman of the Republican Party of Florida and, express their displeasure at him holding an event at their home. But the federal donations are exorbitant. They're way worse than the ones in Florida, actually, because a lot of the ones in Florida, there's a limit of $1,000. In federal, the limits are much higher. So
I'm looking at the repeat of it and the chain or addresses that are here too. It's kind of interesting. You've got different names with the same address, and there's some repeating patterns here that I would think you'd want to look through.
Well, they're not just donating in their name. They're donating. I think their daughter just turned 18. They've donated to someone that gave them an endorsement in their daughter's name. They are using his business partner. So you can see like their donations come through, and then his business partner donates to the same person, the maximum amount as well. It's a whole thing. Actually, I've been reached out to and given information from other people, and media outlets have started reaching out to me the last week after she got the Trump endorsement a couple weeks ago, asking my thoughts on it and those kind of things. And I just said, you are journalists. You should be doing some research. You should be reaching out and going online and looking up how these endorsements are coming through and why. And all you have to do is look up the donation records. I mean, do your due diligence. Like, you're a journalist. That's your job.
I'm curious about this Floridians Protecting Freedom PAC. It's there's several names.
If you go back to their donation starting in 2016, they have given Andrew Gillum and his PACs. That was the guy that was found overdosed on crack in a gay orgy in Miami that ran against DeSantis.
Right.
They gave him over $160,000 between him and all of the PACs that he's associated with. And they are affiliated with the local gentleman's club in some way. They're supposedly from people that have hung out with them and that have been invited to this club with them. They're VIP members. The owners of the club were on their host committee that they posted.
Oh my gosh.
They posted it on their social media. Oh, here's our host committee. And I saw that as well. And I was like, wow. So there's a lot of corruption going on. I don't want the voters in the district to focus on these people. I actually want them to just, put them in the recycle bin and not think about them, because what they need to do is research candidates. Voter education is just as important as voter integrity or voter, election security. yes, we have to fix our elections. You know that I've been a champion, and I've been in groups with Jeff, and I've been Unite Sovereign Americans. I'm on the Republican Party Election Integrity Committee for Palm Beach County. But if voters don't also educate themselves on candidates, like do some, dig into these people. If you go to this particular candidate's page, her campaign page, she's got a huge team because she's got a lot of money. So she's got all these posts filling her feed, but they start when she ran for office. If you go to her personal page prior to her running for office, she just an animal rescuer. She loves animals. That's all she ever posted about. She never posted or spoke out or used her voice for a single conservative issue prior to her running for office. She was never a MAGA Republican. She was never a someone that fought for our freedoms or fought for our rights. She just appeared. She got a really good media or marketing team, and now she's got this page full of MAGA Meg and all these endorsements that she paid for and all of this nonsense. But if you look at prior to her running for office, she was a ghost in the conservative political sphere. So voters, please do your research. You can look at my history dating back to 2016, 2017 on social media. That I've been in the fight. I've been organizing rallies. I put together an anti-child trafficking group. I went to all the conservative conferences and met with all the people and really have been trying to fight for the things that I believe in for years before I ever even thought that I had the right to run for office, that I knew enough, that I had done enough of the grassroots volunteer legwork to justify running for office. And these people think
the money thing is the biggest. To me, the money thing, because I want to make it real clear to anybody: if you're an American and you're not part of the establishment, you're qualified at this point in time. Yeah. But the biggest problem that I see is the money trail and why does she all of a sudden have these large dollars pouring into her campaign? And quite honestly, when President Trump endorses someone, that's the person I'm going to dig into like there's no tomorrow, because he's directing attention. He's a smart guy. He's not playing this the way that the politicians want him to play. And that's what just drives everybody nuts, because he's doing it through unconventional warfare, which is the only way to fight this kind of deep state nonsense that's going on. You've got to outsmart them. We can't outspend them. We absolutely cannot outspend these people, but we can outsmart them and we can outwork them. And I think that's the absolutely the one of the biggest things that people really have to get in canonized in their brain. We cannot take this country back unless everybody gets involved, unless everybody goes out to vote, whether you think your vote's going to count or not. I don't really care. I don't care. It's our duty to vote. If you believe in the Constitution and you believe the United States of America, you get your butts out there and you vote. One day voting, go to the polls. If we vote on election day, now I know there's a lot of people that are promoting, do the absentee ballots, do this, that, and the other things. But the absentee ballots, the problems with that is that they can do whatever they want with them because there's no chain of custody. But if you show up at the polls, on that same day, I think we've got the best chance at overwhelming them. And I think if there's enough of us, they can't even cheat enough to be able to go past it. And we've got a lot of surveillance on it now. We know because of the last election where to look. Mm-hmm. So the biggest thing is everybody's got to get out there. Everybody's got to vote. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got to get in this game, run for office. I don't care what you do. If you're not part of them, run for office, expect to get attacked. It's okay. Yeah. That's going to be part of it. That if you're not drawing some flack, you're not doing anything.
Yeah. Yeah. So with the voting system, the way it is right now, what we've been talking about down here in Palm Beach County in Florida is telling people every single election that we've looked at in the past couple of years when they've been doing the mail-in ballots, we have lost elections due to mail-in.
You bet. Everybody has.
What people what the party is saying and what Trump has said is request your mail-in ballot and then bring it with you when you go to vote. So that way,
that's a good strategy.
they have to destroy it in front of you. I know, because I signed up to be a poll watcher and a poll worker at the last election. I believe it was DeSantis, the gubernatorial in 2022, because I wanted to learn the process before I ran. And yeah, they have to destroy that in front of you.
I'm liking that idea. I guess I haven't heard him say that, but that's
well, what it could do is really skew their numbers as to how they think, how many they think they need. The only caveat or downside, I guess, to voting, everybody trying to overwhelm on election day is we have to watch them to make sure that they aren't throwing our votes away on election day and just basically counting what they already have and saying, oh, well, there just weren't that many, in-person votes.
I think right now, one of the biggest things that everybody needs to focus on is getting rid of these machines. We will never know for certain what's happening as long as we have electronic machines, because they're counting in private, and they've hacked it at the Microsoft level, the operating system level, through open, throwing the source code out there. Everybody else on the planet working for other foreign governments has a source code, but we can't get an audit on it because it's proprietary software. That's a bunch of crap. Well, they leaked all of that proprietary software so that we couldn't have access to it. But, well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I'm going to bring on my next guest here in just a minute. We're going to take a break, and there's Gabriella Fox for Florida. Do you want to give them a way to get besides your website, Gabriella Fox for FL, and it's on my
the easiest. There's another URL that goes to it as well. It's just Gabby for Florida, GABBY. You can find me on X, Twitter, the Gabrielle Fox. Social media, I'm on Facebook and Instagram as well, Gabby for Florida. And any support's appreciated for grassroots candidates like myself. I don't have special interest donors. I don't have, corporate backing or any of those lovely crooked dollars coming in. So any patriots that can help donate, get me some yard signs, get me some social media ads going, all of that is super appreciated. And if there's anybody watching from Palm Beach County, Florida, come door knock with me.
Yeah, and the thing of it is that we have to outwork them with sheer effort. So get on social media, you support Gabby, get on social media and repost. That's the best thing you can do right now to raise our awareness, because we are the news. I'll be right back. Thanks for coming on today, Gabby. And we'll be right back after a short break. Good morning and welcome to the second hour of Brandenburg News Network. I am Donna Brandenburg, and I'm going to welcome on my next guest, Christina Holbrook. How are you?
I'm doing good this morning. How are you, Donna?
Doing great. I'm so glad you could come on this morning. And I had a blast last Friday when we brought on our investigative citizen journalist panel on, and I think this is going to be great. We've been talking about our Fridays, and that we're going to try to bring on new social media, influencers and investigative journalists to give them a place to talk, because and try to get everybody together so that we can kind of work together on some of this stuff and help people get a little more traction out there, because I really believe that we need to overwhelm these people in fake news, and the way we do it is working together.
I agree 100% with you, Donna.
So what are you working on right now?
Right now, I am working on basically transitioning my content to other platforms. But as far as boots on the ground, what I'm working on getting the message out to the people how important it is for us to vote. I think that a lot of people are under the impression that somehow we have this in the bag with Donald Trump, and I think that that is not a good way to go. So my main focus right now is just education on the voting system, on how to become poll watchers. I don't think that people really understand how serious this is, Donna. Like the situation that the United States is in right now, with our media and the propaganda, and it seems that we've been having a lot of fires. I mean, just things that people would say, oh, though that happens all the time. But when you start to pay close attention to it, and you realize, like some of the people that are backing some of these type of events and projects that are going on right now, I think that we need to educate the people. And I think what we're going to do on Fridays with having citizen journalists come on, I think that everybody is in unique positions in their community, and the way the media controls what we see and hear now, we don't have a real grasp on what is going on in other communities. So I think if we start to bring people on and let them tell their story and what they're doing and what they're promoting in the movement, I think that, being that I love your network, by the way, and I appreciate everything you do, especially giving so many people voices. If you guys, if you're new to the Brandenburg network, Miss Donna is amazing. We met at the Turning Point People's Convention a few weeks ago, and I don't know, it's something like, when God puts people in your path, you're drawn to them. So I definitely appreciate you.
We had a great time. It was really fun. I think the beauty that came out of that is that there were so many of us that it was our first time in Media Row at a Turning Point event, or anything else for that matter, in being accepted into Media Row, which was amazing. And there was a definite authenticity there. Everyone that was around us, it was authentic. It was real. It was kind of crazy how well everybody was just like, hey, I can help you do this and I can help you do that. And it just kind of fell in place, and nobody there is really in it for the money. We're just trying to get the truth out there because we love this nation. And I thought that was amazing. It was one of the most authentic groups of people I've been in a very long time.
I agree 100%. I met so many lovely people, and I've learned, just in that small time, because that was my first time at a Turning Point event or on Media Row. So I learned so much, and I was thankful and blessed driving home, because I was thinking about, well, all the things that I've learned, and then I learned them from these great, genuine people that really want to do good for our country. And a lot of us we don't have no money, and we spend what we have to do what we can, because we're not backed by corporations, or nobody's donating large amounts, and particularly because our voice isn't one that they want to hear. They want to continue to push their narrative, so they don't promote people like me and you and anybody that wants the truth or wants to make America what we remember. Because you're old enough, I'm old enough, we remember that time when you felt safe and secure. And sure, there was problems in the United States, but these aren't problems that we have right now. These are events that have the possibility to shape the next 50 years. So
we're in a war right now.
Right.
I mean, this is a war, and it's a war based on unconventional warfare. We don't see the missiles flying yet.
Yes.
But with what's going on in Russia, if they don't attack the United States of America on American soil, I'm going to be really surprised because
So,
somebody.
well, they're doing a lot of stuff in Russia, and I said since Putin went into Ukraine, um, I wouldn't want, this is a strategic war thing here with Ukraine and NATO and the United States. We wouldn't want anybody backed up on our border. Look what how the United States reacted when Putin was, a couple hundred miles off of the Florida shore. So we wouldn't want that there. I know that there's a large history between the United States and Russia, or the USSR, whatever it was before. Um, but we've been so lied to. We don't know that conflict as everyday
Right.
Americans. So all we see is Putin going into Ukraine, and then we're just propagandized with, oh, he's wrong. And a lot of people don't know the type of corruption that has been going on in Ukraine. And now you have a rumor. I was just investigating this morning because some of my followers were, sending me this video saying, is this true? Is this true? There's a video circulating with millions of views that says that NATO is bringing troops into Ukraine right now, and that the United States has moved nuclear weapons into Europe. Now, some of that may be true. It's probably true, to be honest. We probably have troops over there on the ground, but to actually have NATO go into Ukraine will create this war in the second stage that it'll go to, and that's when Putin will come onto United States soil. But we have so many people on the United States soil now that want harm on us. So if it's
They
not
already moved
Putin,
their troops in here through that stupid border insecurity that we are already invaded.
oh yeah,
All they're waiting for is the go. Somebody push the go button,
hmm
and I think it's going to get real pretty quick because they've literally, and they've done it through the NGOs. The NGOs are all complicit. The people in the positions of power, and both elected officials and unelected officials, they have all been in on this in order to take over the United States of America and take it away from we the people. That's
right.
what we're watching.
We have so many different things that are stacked against us now. They've let in a large amount of people that I forget that I'm not censored on here.
Yeah, you can
They
say
let
whatever the hell you want to say on here, and if people don't like it, they can leave and go see their little pandering, sanitized fake news
yeah,
crap. You can say whatever you
right.
want here.
We've let domestic terrorists into our soil, and it's the Chinese, it's the Iranians, it's multiple people. So our attack, once it happens, will start with these groups rising up, and then I believe when we're down, because we only have so much power. America has an ego problem, thinking that we're always going to be this superpower, but they're taking us down brick by brick. All of these people are in the United States. China is making the components for fentanyl and selling it to Mexico. They're bringing it in to the United States. That is to cripple and the bodies so that they can't fight. It's everywhere now. It's not just one enemy. Our enemy is everywhere. It's in our government, it's in our media, sometimes it's in your own household. And you just have to really want to make a change in America to take on that type of spiritual, if you get what I'm saying. Because whenever you start to realize red pilled, it does become a spiritual thing, because then you start to see exactly how God protects you in so many ways. I don't even know where it'll start, Donna, but I know it's coming. It's coming, and it's coming soon. And whatever it is going to just be breathtaking to a lot of people. A lot of people. Yeah.
There's enough fentanyl. I mean, they've proven that they're murderers. Gretchen Whitmer is guilty of third-party murder, in my opinion, by killing all these people in the nursing homes and putting the COVID people
Yeah.
into unregulated nursing homes. The nursing homes she put them in wasn't an accident. They were all ones that didn't pass the regulation test, and so it was a very concerted effort into saying, okay, here, we'll put these in here. You'll get the money. Now, if they'll be complicit, that's exactly what happened here. But they've proven that they are murderers. We've
Mhm.
got enough fentanyl to kill every person in the United States 10 times over. Plus, they know how to launch fentanyl in an aerosolized manner. I hope everybody out there has got Narcan and mask in their purse, in their car,
In
in
my truck.
wherever they are. I hope you go out and you get some, because we have no idea where this stuff is. And, we had the K cars, the Club K cars that were out there.
Mhm.
That's the containers, and they had them all over the United States when President Trump took office. They had the ability to launch chemical, biological, and nuclear weapons all over the United States, and they didn't know where they all were. Now we got them filled with kids, and they're shipping kids in these things, including the semis and such. I actually know of a gal that she was kidnapped from Detroit, and she was with her party, or a friend at a party, and she had her cell phone, and she said, "Help me, you got to find me." She went to phone a friend, and they tracked it to a shipping container. The cops came, wouldn't open the damn container. They found her dead on the shore of Africa 2 weeks later. And this is just one instant. Michigan is, in my opinion, I think we're going to find out that Michigan, with all the big money here, is the head of the snake. I was actually told by one of the people involved in this, up by Bay Harbor, up by Petoskey and Charlevoix and such, that every billionaire on the planet has got a place up there in that area. And I'm like, oh, I'm so impressed. Not, it's like, thanks for just telling me that this is where you all hang out to drink your, to drink your, freaking blood or whatever the heck you're doing up there. But it's like, I'm not buying any of this. And
No.
the money behind it, when you look at the money behind it and the nonsense that's going on with say Amway and the DeVosses and
Mhm.
all of this stuff, the Van Andels and such, the amount of money of these oligarchs. And I can read them off if you guys want to know who it is and what they're doing. I will, in fact, read this off. Watch them all.
Yeah, because I want to know.
Oh, guess what? I will oblige you this morning because this is enough to really. I'm so annoyed by this. Let me see if I can pull it up, and then I'll start going through some. You're gonna be shocked.
I think it's crazy. I can't even grasp all of the corruption that is going on. And you learn a little more every day. Like today, I'm pretty convinced. Well, I've been convinced for a while that the United States wants Ukraine for its resources. So that was my
And they want us dead so we don't compete
yeah.
for it.
So we don't compete. Yeah, that was my revelation this morning. I was like, because I hear people say things on it, and sometimes they're so far-fetched, but you're like, a lot of things go on, so it's anything's possible at these days. And I just kind of put it back in the back of my head. I heard something when the Ukrainian war first started, and this morning it popped right in my head. I'm like, so that I'm gonna dive deep 100% into the amount of resources that Ukraine has right now.
Well, when you look at some of this and the money that's behind all of this stuff, because there's big money behind it. I had somebody kick me something the other day that we need to look into, and that is there's another issue here that they keep bringing these issues forward, and these constitutional amendments, and you got to sign the petitions. It's a bunch of crap. They're just wasting your time. And I believe that they're actually they're formulating, and they're doing a lot of this to form a database of contacts of people who are gullible enough they're looking for gullible sheeple. That's exactly what they're looking for.
And COVID told them who they were too. COVID told the United States government exactly who they can control.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. They're looking for sheeple people. Okay, so let's see. We're going to say the Michigan oligarchs in West Michigan was funded. The Kent GOP was funded by the Kent oligarchs, and that would be DeVos, Secchia, Land, Huizenga, Hibma, Secchia, Land. Let's see. Van Andel, Van Heulen, Jander, Noah, Murray, Voorhees, to the tune of $2.4 million. When I see that much money, now I know a lot of these people, and when I see that much money going into our elections, I am concerned. I don't give a crap who it is. I don't care if Donald Trump, the rightful president of the United States, put this kind of money into elections. And I'm voting for him. I love him. But if I saw this much money going into this stuff, you better start asking questions. Who's funding all of this stuff? Who's funding Axe My Tax? Who's funding all of these things? Because people are so quick to jump on a headline rather than research who are these people. Let's see. When you go down and you look at the Ford Museum in Grand Rapids, I went down there. I took a bunch of pictures, and now my pictures have been showing up all over the place, which is really funny. And I don't really care because we need to expose this. But it's a Kissinger museum. Kissinger is in this thing, giving the orders on everyone. The globalist Kissinger, who was in with Klaus Schwab. You could even make up a supervillain like this guy,
Right?
Klaus Schwab. It's like, my God. And you look at Rockefeller was his VP. Tell me this stuff is not all connected.
It is all connected.
Yeah. So Ford was close friends of Rich DeVos, co-founder of Amway. Ford built the Gerald R. Ford Museum in Grand Rapids in 1976. DeVos Learning Center was added in 2016. It's located across from the Amway Grand Plaza. And it's also, I believe, on DeVos land. And so you look at DeVos, she got, so President Trump, he is going to throw people into the spotlight to see if we're smart enough, as almost the, Papa D here, being our the guy that's been defending this, to see if we're going to smarten up as a bunch of kids and figure this thing out. It's like he calls in Betsy DeVos. Betsy DeVos resigns on January 7, right after the J6 thing, because God forbid should we have President Trump get back in again, and gives $22 million to Pence, the traitor. Pence, the traitor. And this is all Republican nonsense. We're not even mentioning the Democrats. And everybody's like, Democrat. Y'all better start getting ready to clean your own houses out, because this is exactly where it is. And so we look at, let's see, we've got, you got even a few Dems like sprinkled into this, but the Ford Foundation, that's another thing we need to look into. You got Michael Jandrnoa, who's the chair, Hank Meyer, who's the vice chair, Stephen Andel, Doug DeVos, J.C. Heisinger, and look into these people's background. Bill Schuette, that's one creepy ass individual, I'm going to tell you. John Engler, John Kennedy, James Hackett, Debbie Dingell, Alan Greenspan, Dick Cheney, and Liz Cheney. All right, people. Past members include Harry Kissinger, the given Ford orders Kissinger, Donald Rumsfeld, Rich DeVos, Peter Secchia, and Mike Murphy. And it's going to go on. I can go on and on and on with this, because this is such a concerted effort. It's incredible. Klaus Schwab was the mentor for Kissinger. So we've got all sorts of things going around here. United Nations is involved in it. Amway is expanding into Chinese, Chinese Communist Party. You have all kinds of things here. And so I'm gonna say it right now, people. I think we just need to be looking in our own backyard, because I think we're going to find out that they have paraded themselves as Christian nationalists. Really? Last time I checked, I'm just really, really, really concerned, people. And you've got Tudor Dixon out there, who's like blowing her little Tudor Dixon globalist horn out there, and she's in all the freaking pictures. She was a DeVos candidate. People, let's get smart. But everybody runs to these superstars, and it's crazy that you would think that we would be broken from this by finding out how bad Hollywood is. We just run to the political superstars now. I want the ones that nobody looks at, not in the spotlight, is getting no money. That's the ones that I want to be talking to, because they're being censored by the globalist crime syndicate, the oligarchs who are paying for our elections.
It's a federal mafia.
Yeah.
But what do we do with that?
Mafia.
What do we do with that, Donna, when we know that we have all of these things stacked against us, and there are, and corruption is in our own party? So, what do we do with that? How do we just continue to speak up? Because we're on the, I don't want to say losing end, because we're winners. We have a much harder fight than they have. We have to fight for the truth to come out. And there's so much corruption. They're all corrupt.
They are, and it's like there's different levels of fighting though, and I think that that's something that you can't underestimate, because God always has a remnant. This fight is God's. They launched a fight against God Almighty, and because at the end of the day, a lot of them are in the Masons. When you look at the amount of Masonic activity, or let me more aptly say it, it's they're Luciferians. I think Rob now just put it out too, that AirPac and the Carlisle Group, Apollo nonprofits are controlling the Dominion voting outcomes. You bet they are, as well as Microsoft, GitHub, and all of these people that leak the source code so that states can hack our elections. But with that said, if you really want to know what I really believe is going on and why I continue to fight without losing my mind here, it's because I really believe that we've got a lot of really, really, really good people behind the scenes that are unsung heroes and warriors that are not going to lay down to these pieces of crap sitting in office. They're not going to give up on this. There's always been a remnant. There's always been God. When we ask God for help, He gives it to us. But what we're seeing because of fake news is we're seeing the crafted narratives that are keeping people running around, stupidly following the wolves that are there to eat them, instead of saying, wait a minute, what's really going on here, and jumping off the mind plantation and actually looking into what's really happening. What's really happening, in the opinion of Donna Brandenburg, is that we've got some heroes that are going to go down in history as the greatest patriots that have ever lived, that are stepped forward to the call. And they are, in fact, using all of the weapons that these globalist pieces of crap have been using against us to catch them. And I think that we're already seeing, and if you're looking, you're going to be able to see the takedown that's going on around us. Now, with understanding that the elections are completely rigged through the machines, it's kind of beautiful, because if there's surveillance on us, we're using it on them. And the good people that are in place, guaranteed. See how well this ages. I think it's going to age great. This is going to be one of the greatest stings in the history of the world, catching the bad guys and also seeing who's a true patriot. And it's going to stand fighting till the end, unwavering. Y'all being sifted right now. Everybody out there is being sifted. If you're going to be dumb enough to follow these people, you're not qualified for the position, because this is we don't need any more sheeple that can be placed in office. We need uncontrollable Americans who are willing to stand to the last breath to fight for this nation, to fight for the children, to leave a history, or to leave something to our posterity. And I'm not talking about this crap that we got going on now, this nonsense of infiltrated pieces of crap sitting in the seats. And I think a lot of people have been blackmailed, coerced, threatened, and such. I really do. And if given the way out of having horrible things happen to them, will they take it? Will they take it and turn on them and start talking and singing like a bird? I absolutely think that that's what's going on right now. I've seen many people, and I'm like, okay, we've got a controlled asset there that turned against them. They were given a way out, and they took it because they didn't want to be there in the first place. And that happens. I mean, they've put honeypots out there. They have put stuff out there. They can get into computers and leave evidence. You'll never see them come in, and you'll never see them go, because it's all being waged on the digital battlefield right now.
Yeah, that's true. I think though we're at a time and age where, like, we realized what was going on with Hollywood. Corruption bleeds. Anything you do that is against what is natural, It always comes to light. I knew when the whole COVID thing started that eventually we may not have the whole truth, but we're surely getting close to it. And it's the same with anything. A little bit of time tends to tell on you. So it will, but I do believe that it will come down to the type of people that you were just talking about, the true patriots, the people that are willing to
The
give the
real tough
sacrifice.
guys.
Yeah.
The real tough guys
Hmm.
that are willing to stand with all odds against us,
Hmm.
realizing God loves those odds. God loves the odds of when all hope is lost. God loves those odds. And it's been trust the plan, and everybody's like, I don't believe the plan. Well, then your idiot genes are just coming out, because the plan has always been God's plan. It's
Exactly.
always been God's, even when things look like they're going wrong. Just wait. He's going to take it and he's going to turn it around, because he's giving people an opportunity to turn around, catching bad guys, sifting every single person out there to see how tough people really are and whether they're willing to walk with him under all circumstances, not taking the 30 pieces of silver and staying true to him. That's where we are right now.
I don't think a lot of people realize what is coming and how important their relationship with God is right now. We have people that just walk around as zombies and they just take in everything that they're told and they regurgitate that out to other people. And it's like almost doing the devil's work for them. But what we have coming, a lot of this stuff, I don't know if I've mentioned to you before, but um, I have a certain ability. Like I dream about things
What
and
are you saying about that?
yeah. I knew about Maui on July 1st. I wrote in my dream journal a lot of the things that came out in Maui. I just didn't know it was Maui at the time. And so a lot of, unfortunately, things that I have been dreaming about is a lot of death. Um just bodies piled on top of bodies. But I realized that how I got to the People's Convention had to be a God moment. Like I was sleeping on my chair and I woke up just as well, I kind of heard it and I woke right up just as they were, announcing it, and I immediately got on. And it seems like every since that moment I am seeing so many signs, like watching people exist. I truly believe right now that there are going to be a lot of people that die within the next couple years, because
I'd say that's accurate.
those people are not meant for this path that we have to take going forward. So I think a lot of people will die. It's not going to be a comfortable path at all. A lot of things will be moved out of your way, anything that doesn't benefit what you are and going forward. But a lot of people see that now, with the way that they manipulate our Earth's atmosphere and our magnetic field and a lot of the thing. I'll tell you my theory on the solar eclipse someday. But they've changed the way in so many fashions, like with the things, the way that the body operates. And so when I said that they're attacking us from multiple directions, and COVID is an example of that, the mutation of our DNA, or gearing a biochemical weapon, that was just a test. They took out a lot of old people. They didn't anticipate, and that's saved Social Security, maybe, I don't know, but they didn't anticipate the young children. So it's so many different levels that they've been attacking us on to break us down so that we're not prepared for what is going forward. And if you look at history over the last 100 years, go with that in mind, you can see the progression of their plan. And right now we are like on the cusp of shit just popping off, but we have so many people that are so dumbed down to society and reality that they will never see it. They will be the casualties. And me, you, a lot of other people, we're the warriors. We're the warrior of the message. And a lot of people don't know their path in life. But I think you would say, Donna, do you know your path? I mean,
I
I
knew it
do.
from before I was 5 years
Yeah.
old, because
Yes.
I saw you and I talked about that, because I saw that before I was 5 years old. God was literally talking to me. He's like, you're going to have to learn a lot because you're going to have to help save a lot of people. And I saw it. I saw I saw the future of what we were going to go through, and the death, the war, the death, and the destruction. I knew I was going to be in a huge war from under 5 sometime. It seems like I always knew it, but I saw very, very specific things. And, so like I've kind of always known, and, which is kind of interesting. And I really do think that God conditions us through there's a lot of things that people don't know about me. Tremendous. Even though I put a lot of stuff out there, there is a lot people absolutely don't know about me. And, people, if they would be really shocked, because I've been told I make things look really easy when it's difficult. But when you've had a really rough go, it hardens you to be able to stand under extraordinary conditions. You become very battle hardened. And I really, when I was younger, I felt sorry for myself for certain things, but I don't anymore. It's like I look at all those things that happened to me, and that were unfortunate, that were terrible things, that I rarely talk about, or even things that happened when I was older, and I see this continual hardening for battle. And so, it's like when crisis happens around me, I just like step over the line and say, let's do this. And where you can't control. And you know what it is? It's not a journey of acquiring tasks or not tasks, skill sets. That's part of it. But more than that, when you go through really bad things, it's a journey of learning to walk with God in the dark, where you can't see the next step, and it doesn't matter to you. Because even in the dark, in the darkest times of life, it's a training to know that God is here in the dark. God is here when things fall apart. And all you got to do is make sure you put your trust in him and walk step by step with him, because he will never fail you nor leave you. And realizing that even in the darkest times, his purposes are being accomplished. They're always good. And it was never, it was, he's teaching us to be more like him, which is long suffering, resilient, being able to walk with people through really, really difficult circumstances, and being able to be there and be that rock that Jesus is. Jesus is the rock. He came here to die. His purpose was to come here to die. They did not kill him. He willingly laid his life down. He could have called angels, legions of angels to rescue him. And he chose to walk the path anyway, and not have it be all about him. He literally chose that path of torture, of negative circumstances, and it was a choice. He could have walked away from it, and he chose not to, because of his love for us, not wanting to see anyone perish or have eternal separation from God. He chose that. It's extraordinary. How many people do you know would have the guts to do that? I can tell you, I don't know very many.
I don't know very many either.
People are so bent on playing full time. I got to go do this, and this is about this, and this is what I want to. And it's like, I'm like, it boggles my mind. It's like you're watching the destruction of human beings. You're watching people be killed on a daily basis through the jab, through human trafficking, through sex trafficking, through the cartels who are not above cutting people's faces off and pulling their hearts out, beating alive. I know you worked on the border. I've seen it. I've posted some of this stuff, and I give a warning to it. But this is what you're seeing. If you have never seen somebody get their face hacked off as they sit there alive, or hearts being pulled out of their chest. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen it. I post stuff like this. It is for real. This is what's coming. It's not, we're not going to escape this,
No.
but we will be able to rebuild. And I do think that if they decide that they're going to move forward in this direction, and they think that Santa Muerte and all of this other satanic bullshit out there, the Masons and everybody else is involved in, the child trafficking is going to stand, you just got yourself open up a can of whoop ass like you've never seen. Because the moment that God's people step forward and we have the power of God, this is going to be wiped away and wiped off the planet, just like it's been wiped off the planet many other times. But this time, we aren't going back, because there's going to be no mercy for these people who have committed these horrific crimes. This weekend, I've got a very good friend, Terry McCoskey, and his nephew is a cop in Detroit, and he was on the auto theft. He was on watching out for auto theft. And I think I lost Christine. Are you there? See if she comes back a minute. I want to hear her, have her hear this. Can you hear me, Christina? There you are.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Hold on 1 second. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I'm going to go out and come back in.
Perfect. We'll wait for Christine, and then I'll tell the rest of this story, because I think this is something everyone needs to hear about. These people that are committing these crimes, they're not human like we are. They're absolutely not human. We're dealing with a spiritual component on this that I think is going to really shock people. Let's wait for Christine to come back in a minute. I'll see if I can pull up her thought crimes thing while we're waiting for Christine to come back in. Thought criminals. Bamo. She's on TikTok. And let's see if we can get her back on here a minute, because I think this is incredible. I'm really loving all of these people that I met at Turning Point USA, by the way, just so you know. It's extraordinary. There you go. You're back.
Sorry.
So I was going to pull up thought criminals here on the TikTok and show everybody.
Oh, on the TikTok?
Yeah.
Be careful. Oh, well, you're not censored.
Screw them all. It's like, I hate to say it, just screw them all. But what I'm saying is that people don't have a clue what exactly is transparent. So anyhow, they, let's see if I get at thought criminals. Let's see if we bring it up here. Terry's nephew was on, here we go. Terry's nephew was on, ta-da. On patrol, and they were working on getting rid of the going after somebody who was in auto theft. There were 5 guys, and one of them came up and shot. He got in the car to from what I understand, I might have all the details not quite right, to retrieve this stolen vehicle. And of the 5 guys, he was shot twice in the chest and once in the head. This man this was this weekend in Detroit, Michigan. He has 3 children and 1 on the way. A very nice young cop. And you know whose fault that murder is? That murder is the fault of Biden, Whitmer, the entirety of our legislature, which refuses to prosecute these people. The Department of Justice, all of these people who have cheated on our elections, and every single one of them is going to have to be brought to justice for these crimes. The murder of this young man was the fault of every one of them seated in power, because they refused to enforce the law and catch and release, let these monsters out. And all I was saying when you're gone is that this is absolutely not, I don't know how to say it, just a human issue. These people are inhuman. You can't go to these things to be able to rip people's hearts off, cut their faces off, shoot a young cop. They could have run away. Why did they have to shoot him? And there's no conscience to this whatsoever. And I'm horrified by it. But would you like me to show one of your videos here?
Scroll down. The one that says black and white.
Okay, let's check.
Because this is an issue I'm having
I am really sick of this black and white narrative that the media is using for division. What are you talking about, Christy? There is a tweet from I Expose Racists and Pedos. By the way, he only puts white racism on there. He doesn't put racism towards white people on there. He has a tweet, and every time he says the word white, he uses bold letters because he's trying to feed a narrative that all mass shooters are white. He's referring to a white shooter that, let's see, this white shooter, let me get my notes. Killing 2, injuring 8, including a cop inside at Mad Butcher Grocery in Arkansas. So that's the narrative. But what he leave out is the next day when a teenage black boy decides to open fire at a Juneteenth celebration, killing 2 black women and injuring 12. See, his story wasn't all over mainstream media, but the story about the white guy shooting people surely was. This is how the media chooses to propagandize you guys and to create division. And as long as you continue to fall for it, then you are doing their job for them. Not all mass shooters are white, and I would pay very close attention to and use discernment.
It's a long video, Donna.
that I researched to.
Let's go back and look at some of your other ones. You got some great videos here. I went and I looked at some of them, and I'm like, these are some really great videos. Oh, and you watched their interview. That's great. Thank you. So, yeah, it's nice to invite people in, but you've got some really great videos here. I like, what do you have? You've got the ghost story.
Oh, I have a lot of ghosts around me. Yes, you'll see tons of ghost stories on there.
Okay. Here we got We the People. Is there anything from Turning Point you want to put up there?
Go back up. I don't think so. I didn't post a lot on Turning Point because I'm posting that on a different network. That's the guy. Did you see that guy outside of Turning Point?
Yeah, he was actually. Yeah, I actually met him, and I've got his contact.
He's hilarious. That was just hilarious. I have a lot of I talk about current events. I do a lot with the sex trafficking and the illegal immigrants. You guys heard Donna mention before that I was on the border. I did take our border back. I've been to Texas multiple times. I did rescue and fire. Well, I'm sorry. I did volunteer work, and we ended up being the rescue and fire because I am not a firefighter or any type of certified rescue person. But the Texas wildfires were such a, I'm looking for the right word because I got to be really careful about how I speak about Texas right now because we do have a documentary coming out and we have determined what started the fires and who did it. So,
can you give us a hint?
They want their resources. Go figure.
Go figure.
And it will. This group of people is aligned in a lot to our politics. So I'll just leave it at that.
Well, let me tell you what. I'll tell you what. I went up to Camp Grayling in Michigan, and I'm going to tell you what right now is that the DNR is the one that are involved in the theft of the resources in Michigan. They do it through agency capture, and they've got 4.6 million acres that they have captured, that they are in charge of all the mineral rights and the trees. I want to see the freaking receipts on where that goes. I want to give a shout out here to Rob now, and he's been posting some great stuff here in the chat. Chronic inflammatory illness and myocarditis will kill many. The Sanhedrin had taken the Romans to prosecute Jesus. The Roman prosecutor said he had no evidence to condemn Jesus. I think we can look right at that right now and start asking some questions. I have no issues with the Jewish people. I got a lot of issues with the Zionists, the Zionists and or the governments of all nations right now because they've all thrown in with us. And it's not the Jewish people. We have no quarrels with them. Let me be clear about this. I have my doctor is Muslim, and I have no quarrel with the people that want to live a nice life and protecting each other and serving God, not these butcherers that are claiming a religion or whatever it may be. And I've got a lot of bitches with the Christian church right now, a whole lot of bitches with them, because they are so apostate, and it's all about the money for the majority of people. It's not the Christians, it's the leadership. Same thing with the Republicans. I don't have any quarrels with Republicans that are really wanting a conservative ability to go forward as a conservative. I've got a big bitch with the leadership until Laura Trump came in, and I've got some hope for her, and I really hope she does a good job. But the rest of them, it is time to just torch this thing. And don't get stupid, not grab your torches and pitchforks, but these corrupt organizations need to be absolutely abolished. So anyhow, Rob puts out there are gangs. Terry McCoskey, he's awesome. He's a great candidate to be the next sheriff of Macomb County. Yes, and he is. He'd be great at it. He's got a long law enforcement history. He is a criminal investigator. He's a his list of skills is just amazing. And Rob said Zionists aren't truly Jewish. No, they're not truly Jewish. They're like how do I say it? DeVos is a Zionist. If you look at all these people, it's a global crime syndicate who have sold out to Satan himself in order to do harm to God's people. Ain't gonna work, guys, because you know what? Big Daddy up there is gonna take care of us.
Right.
And no, don't think that you're gonna win this war. You cannot win against the creator of heaven and earth. He's just sitting back there watching you for a little while as he's racking up the charges against you and hoping that you're smart enough to turn around and repent. And if not, pretty extra sure he's the one that's going to throw this whole thing on the burning pile.
Right, exactly. It won't, he'll lead us there.
Yep. Time's getting short, people.
So you better pray. I tell everyone, because I don't want to offend anybody's religion. So I tell everyone, whatever God it is that you pray to, I highly advise you to start praying, because I'm praying to my God. And because I don't, with different religions, especially with my knowledge, like on Muslims and stuff, that's not something I choose to know about. So I don't ever want to make someone feel bad or offend them.
Well, look at it this way. If you're raised in a culture, no matter what it is, people sometimes are afraid to learn the truth of things because they don't want to offend God. So let's just say somebody is raised in certain families and they don't want to offend what the belief system. It's a very, very hard thing for human beings to actually leave a belief system that they were born into behind. God is the righteous judge. Make no mistake about it. He knows people's hearts. He absolutely does. And I think that whatever we do going forward, putting into God's hands is best. We are not God. We don't think like him. We're learning, but we don't think like him. And we can't pretend that we have all the answers. But what I do know is I have faith in him as absolutely righteous. He loves everyone. He created everyone. That spark of life. I'm going to put this up here. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but that spark of life, and I will post thought criminals in my Telegram chat. He knows every single person inside and out, and he is in fact righteous. And so we don't need to sit here and try to second guess what God's going to do. Right. I don't think that's a good process at all.
That's not my job.
It's not our job.
It's not my job.
Our job is to serve God, have faith in him, and absolutely be here to serve God. Now check this out. This is so amazing. Flash of life at the moment of conception. I'm waiting for them to take this video down at some point. I should just rip it And I'm going to rip this and put this up in my Telegram channel. So I've got the video. So if they ever take it down, it will, in fact, here we go. So there's the egg, and here's the sperm comes in to join with the egg. It's on the right hand side, and there's the spark of life. So if you want to debate me or anyone else on what on the spark of life and God literally creating a human being and him touching, him breathing life, it's at conception. There is no, absolutely no going back. So you can see the sperm right there.
That is incredible. That's the soul. That's God giving your life to you.
That is exactly it. And it's like, this is every person on the planet. God wants all people to come to him. He knows who we are, even people that have messed up. He's expecting us to mess up. He knows what we're going to do. And he loved us anyway.
Anyways. Yeah.
And Jesus chose to lay his life down anyway. And didn't back away from that fight or the duty to serve God. Here, I'm going to put that on my Telegram channel.
Yeah, that is impressive.
And, it's like, there's no contesting it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And here, I'm going to put your TikTok in my chat. This is what I like to do. I want everybody to know, I think Casey's out there. Casey Whalen's out there watching, I believe. And I'm going to give a shout out to Casey too. Hey, Casey. And he's out there. It's on X. It's at Casey, CASEY _Whalen, WHALEN. Let me see if I can, I don't know if I can bring it up here right now, but I'll put it out there. Hey, Casey, if you want to come in, just text me and I'll let you in too. But just so you know, this is all based on love. It's based on love. But if people don't turn around and they have fallen into evil, to doing evil, if you're a mom or a dad, are you going to let somebody run around that's going to hurt let's say it's a brother or sister that's a psychopath that's going to hurt all their other children? Are they going to continue to stay with that after huge things, bad things? Probably not. If one of my kids did something horrible to the rest of my kids, they would be voted off the island, and it would be, and I would be the one to turn them in and see that they got prosecuted to even my own children, to the fullest
accountability
of the law. I wouldn't, because I would be the first one standing in line, and they know it. If they did something to harm another human being intentionally, if it was a mistake, I think we'd have a lot to work through together. But intentionally, I'd be the first one up there to lay their sorry butts right out. And
that's how it should be.
It's the way it has to be, because we are God's family. And it's important to remember that we are God's family. We are God's children.
He wants us to love. That's all he wants. He wants us to love.
Family. We're all family. And that's important to remember. So with that said, do you have anything else you want to talk about today? It's 11 o'clock and
no, I'm just, blessed. I love coming on with you. I think that you're great. I think what you're doing is great.
I think what we need to do, honestly, I was thinking about this morning about seeing if people want to host shows on BNN, because we could expand BNN from those of us who are there at Turning Point. I love that. And see if we can, put things up as citizen journalist investigators and put real stuff up there. I think that would be kind of something to consider. And, I'm always just building things on the fly.
I think that's a good idea. That it is always good to expand your network. That is, bring, different personalities and that type of thing on. You see a lot of networks that do that.
I can only be on for 2-3 hours a day. I've been on more than that in a day. I've been on sometimes 4.5 in the morning. Then I've been on at 2 to 3 at night occasionally. I'm going to tell you what, this old girl is getting a little bit too old for that. I don't think I could sit in the chair for 8 hours straight. Just telling you, right? And but I mean, I think if we band together, we could really help each other. And I mean, there's some really great people out there. Casey Whalen, Dan Smariglio, Hollis Smariglio, I think.
Yeah, I can't say it.
I'm really happy about that. Joel Bavacqua, and Casey, and there's another guy that's Brewster. I think what Brewster's first name was that we met here. He's great. But there's so many of us out there that if we have a place to speak where people could tune into their favorite people to see what, because not everybody's going to like what I have to say, or you or anybody. There's going to be people that absolutely, I hate that Brandenburg, just shut her up and turn it off. That's fine. I don't really care. I have absolutely nothing. I don't care. I could say the F word. I have no F's to give. I just don't,
I'm out of them too.
Yeah.
I got none left either.
Yeah, it's like, but we're out here trying to help each other. And if you like listening to Christina, listen to Christina. If you like listening to somebody else and you're listening to what they have to say, but do your own research. Don't listen to everything that either Christina or myself or anyone says at face value, even President Trump, because sometimes he's drawing attention to get us to research. You have to do your own research. Find out who these people are. And, maybe there's people that have been, blackmailed. Maybe their kids have been taken. I know of a judge that was taken captive, and I found this out through somebody who's very high law enforcement. They didn't find him for a long time. He was out of Chicago. They finally found him, and he was in bad shape. I'm going to tell you that right now. They found him, and he was in really bad shape. There was a general that was taken. When they got to him to rescue him, he was in bad shape. And I don't know the outcome, because these people are murderers. They will not stop, and they don't have any conscience to what they are willing to do to a human being. When I'm talking torture, I'm talking whatever you think I can guarantee you there's just a fraction of the people out there who really know how bad it is.
I agree.
What they're capable of. And I believe that we really should put some of this stuff out there, and I have some of it. But some of it is, once you see it, you will be wrecked for life. I'll guarantee you, there's no going back. When you decide to get into the fight for real, you will not be able to turn around, because God will not let you. Once you see it, you're responsible for what you've seen, and you cannot walk away from this and just go back to real life and play. Every minute of your life will be devoted to righting these crimes. I know I will not give up. I will be fighting this with my very last breath.
Me too.
I don't care what that looks like, and I know you will too, and the rest of it. So anyhow, let's say a prayer and we'll move on with our day. How's that?
Sounds great.
Do you want to pray, or do you want me to?
You go ahead.
Okay, dear Heavenly Father, thank you so very much for Christina, and for Jeff, and for Mike, and for Gabby, and all the wonderful people that were willing to step forward today and every day on this show to bring the truth forward. We want to honor you with all of our thoughts, our actions, our deeds. We hope that you would please wake more people up to get into the fight. It is your world. In service to you, we stand unwavering, and we will do whatever it is that you ask us to do, up to and including laying our lives down minute by minute, hour by hour. No matter what it is you ask us to do, we are willing in service to you, because we love this world that you built for us. We love your family, that spark of life that you've breathed into each and every one of us. It's precious to us. It is so precious to us. And we ask that you continue directing us to walk with you every day. You are good all the time. Your purposes are good all the time. We trust you. The plan is your plan. We trust your plan. And we love you for it. You've been a great friend to us, and we want to be a friend to you. We love you. In the name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. There you go.
Thank you so much. That was a beautiful prayer.
Oh, I love praying. I could pray full time. I love praying. I think it's fun for me. It's like, I want to talk to Papa,
Yeah.
Tell me what to do. We really don't know what to do in some of these situations, so we kind of need a little guidance here.
I talk to God all day long. I'm on the highway, I'm talking to him. I'm on a roof, I'm talking to him. I talk to him all day long.
Yeah, that's cool. And then he guides our ways. He opens up paths that we can't believe are there. So now that we both have hands, because a lot of times we don't have hands because people come on an avatar. Ding, 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 ding. We're gonna we love you all, and just let you
Right.
know, God bless you. God bless all those whom you love, and God bless America. Make it a great day. If you don't have an example, be one. If you're the only one standing, yelling from the tops of the roofs and the mountains, truth, be that person. Have the courage to step forward. God, this is all about your walk with God. This is a spiritual battle we're in right now. He will give you his strength. We can't do it in our own strength. We have nothing. We are just a vessel for God to work with. It's, are you willing to to run the race without faltering? Because our focus is on God. It is not our strength. It's not our knowledge. It's not our efforts. It's none of that. All he says is, okay, little one, are you willing to walk? I will never leave you, abandon you, or forsake you. Just walk with me, and we can make things right in our elections, in our country, in our families, in everything. Just walk with God and watch the miracles. He loves odds that are stacked against all reason, because that's when we see God work, and that's when we see his miracles. So have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. And stay on the line a minute, Christina. I'm going to end the broadcast, but you go ahead and stay on the line. And because guess what? We talk. We have like after party talks. But if you want to join us and be part of these after party talks, just let me know, and
They get spicy.
it's fun because everything is said there. So have a great day. Know that you're loved and you're important. That spark of life was you.